So I hope you enjoyed our Dugong rescue story. Before you do anything else, I want you to think about the genre of the story, okay? Is this something that could actually happen? Is it factual? Is it fake? So take a moment and think about it. Good. So you should know that a story is organized by its plot, okay? All stories are fiction, so it has to be a type of fiction. This is something that maybe could happen if someone or an animal is trapped at the bottom of the ocean in a net. Maybe professional snorkelers would be able to go in and save that dugong. So this would be realistic fiction. However, it's telling us in a story. So like I said before, always start at the exposition. So what happens first in this story? Think about the setting. So we know the setting is in Australia in a coral reef on a motorboat, and it says it in the first paragraph of the text. We also met our characters, Julia, Peter, and Uncle Roberts in the first paragraph of our text. We know this is in third person because the narrator's telling the story. They're saying Peter. If they would be saying the pronoun I or you, that would be first or second person. However, since they're using direct names and using pronouns such as them, then this is a third person point of view. As you read through, you probably found a lot of events, okay? So the next you should always think about what is the conflict? What is going on in the story? Well, the main problem is that the dugong was stuck in a net and Uncle tries to save it. Okay, so we know that our climax has to be the turning point of our story that relates to our conflict. So always go to your climax next. What is the turning point where the main character has to make a problem? Is the character going to do this, or is the character going to do this? So our climax should be Uncle Robert drops the knife and Julia sees it sink. Now, he drops the knife, Julia sees it sink. Julia has to decide, is she going to let that knife stay there and sink and that dugong stay trapped? Or is Julia going to save that dugong? Okay, so that is our climax, the turning point of the story. Once you figure out your climax, go through and think about all the events that led up to your climax. There's a bunch of rising actions. I think I needed you to pick maybe three. However, if you have any of these, that would work. So number one, Uncle Roberts is teaching the kids about fish and underwater mammals. Rising action two, Peter sees that dugong. Rising action three, Uncle Robert turns off the motor and approaches the dugong. Rising action four, the dugong starts to thrash. Uncle puts the snorkel and dives in to save the dugong. And five, the dugong thrashes as Julia and Robert enter the water. Notice 1 through 5 goes up the hill. So that is actually like you're driving a car, you're starting at the bottom, you're going up to the main event. So these should be in order going up. We already talked about her climax, the turning point. She has to make the decision. Does she save this dugong? Does she not save this dugong? Well, our first falling action is that she dives into the water for the knife. She swims and gives it to Uncle Robert. And the end of our story, how it ends, is that Uncle Robert cuts the net and frees the dugong. So I hope this helps. We're going to keep practicing plots, so don't worry about it. However, we will keep coming back to our dugong story throughout the year, so kind of keep it in mind or make sure you're going back to access it for different things that you will need to do with the story. All right, good work.